Hello, I'm Sarah, and I will be doing my final project on marriage counseling. I believe that this is a very large area of study, and I did my best in researching and condensing this area of study. However, I feel it is going to take me graduate school, supervision, experience, and a lot more studying to fully grasp marriage counseling. I have enjoyed studying this subject, and I hope you guys enjoy the information I provided. God is a relational God. Man and woman are made in His image. Thus, we are also relational. Marriage was designed and created by God and was one of the first topics discussed in the Bible. Finding a mate is described in the Bible as a good thing, a treasure, and believers are encouraged to enjoy interpersonal and sexual relationships with their spouses. Additionally, it has been shown by researchers that marriage has a greater influence in our lives than many have imagined. Happily married individuals, as opposed to divorced or widowed individuals, are less likely to develop health problems. Individuals in a higher quality of marriage have better health and well-being, and poor quality of marriages are associated with poor health and well-being. Sometimes it may be hard to separate the effects of marital problems from the causes. For example, the anxiety of one partner may be causing marital tension, but the anxiety can also be an effect of marital tension. There's a circular relationship between cause and effect of the marriage relationship. However, it has been researched that happily married individuals live long and healthy lives, have better mental health, and are less inclined to be chronic drinkers, and are overall generally happy. Being happily married is God's plan and has many other beneficial assets. Society and the world today do not portray God's plan for marriage. Marital commitments are uncommon, unhappiness is the standard, and divorce is convenient and accessible. The world of celebrities and high-profile people promote non-commitment and destruction among relationships. With the world and society's view on marriage, marriage counselors are important to protect God's design of relationships. An estimated 80% of counselors in private practice see couples with marital problems. The percentage of pastors counseling couples is probably higher. Although it is difficult, the advantages of marital counseling can be rewarding. Marital conflict is often a symptom of other issues going on within the relationship or individual. These issues can include such things as selfishness, lack of love, unwillingness to forgive, anger, bitterness, communication problems, anxiety, sexual mistreatment, substance abuse, feelings of inferiority, sin, and deliberate rejection of God's will. Each of these can cause problems among the relationship. There is not much in the Bible directly related to marriage, but there is much written about the issues underlying marriage problems. Les and Leslie Parrott mention that most marriages start well, but run into things that may divide or cause marital problems. They divide these problems into three categories: some things that surprise couples, some things that undermine couples, and some things that jolt couples. Some things such as unfulfilled expectations, disappointing sex, faulty communication, unhealthy relationships, unwise choices, and secrets can surprise couples after marriage. This often happens when couples who marry without truly knowing each other, but can also happen to couples who have dated or been engaged for long periods of time before getting married. Some things also undermine couples. Past experiences, secrets, and the way of looking at life is often established in people who marry. Each has their own worldview and perspective, and this can cause differences. If there is a lack of compromise, unwillingness to change, unwillingness to view other person's viewpoint, or refusal to acknowledge the differences, then issues can rise up and undermine the relationship. These issues can include busyness, role confusion, inflexibility, religion, value differences, conflicting needs, personality differences, money and debt, boredom, and a weakening emotional bond. Additionally, every marriage experience has life jolts in their marriage. This includes medical emergencies, death of loved ones, natural disasters, deep disappointments, financial problems, career-ending problems, and many other problems that can send a family into crisis or even hurt the most stable relationships. A marriage counselor's goal is to keep the family together and flourishing, even in bad situations when forces attempt to pull the relationship apart. The best counselors seek to understand these forces and assist couples as they deal with surprises, jolts, and issues that sneak up and undermine the relationship. Marital counseling can be difficult because counseling one person can be challenging. Counseling two people can be even more challenging. Often at least one person comes with skepticism about counseling, and sometimes there is resistance and hostility because the other spouse made them attend counseling. Collins established 8 techniques to help guide marriage counselors. Be alert to yourself, be alert to special issues, determine why each couple comes for counseling, establish goals, focus on the person, focus on the problem, focus on the process, and be aware of common mistakes that can be avoided. There are common mistakes to avoid in marriage counseling. One is the lack of structure. When a couple attends marriage counseling, there is attacks and counterattacks. The counselor can lose control if there is a lack of structure. An example of this would be setting the standard that there is no interrupting each other. Another mistake is no plan for change. Many counselors like their counselees to come up with their own solutions. However, the couple is there because they cannot come up with their own solutions. It is beneficial for the counselor to have suggestions and guidance. It is important to note that not all couples are the same, and different approaches must be taken with each couple. The counselor may become overwhelmed with the couple's problems and encourage the couple to separate. It is important to take the time to assess and process the marriage carefully to avoid separation. The marriage counselor must avoid abandoning one's values about marriage in the process of helping difficult couples. If the counselor really believes in the sanctity and permanence of marriage, it'll likely be he or she will do whatever possible to save and improve the marriage that the couple came for counseling for. Landon and Davis encourage counselors and researchers to seek the higher moral and ethical plane. Ethical behavior includes behavior as a person. How do you treat other people? Do you treat everyone you encounter with dignity and respect? The International Association of Marriage and Family Counselors has a great resources for ethics to help navigate the ethics of marriage and family counseling. The Code of Ethics for the IAMFC includes counseling relationships and client well-being, confidentiality and privacy, competence and professional responsibilities, collaboration and professional relationships, assessment and evaluation, counselors' education and supervision, research and publication, ethical decision-making, and resolution and diversity. There are also ethical considerations in integrating Christianity into marriage counseling. The counseling should never practice outside the boundaries of his or her competence or belittle or demean the client's religious authority leader. The counselor needs to respect the client's religious background and not impose their own values on the client. But the client is free to discuss what he or she chooses. The counselor should be aware of his or her worldview and upon initial meeting of a new client respectfully set to understand their worldview in view of God. This helps the counselor understand what can be discussed without offending the client. Additionally, an integrating spirituality and counseling extremes should be avoided. It is imperative to approach the spirit man to have a lasting healing effect of a person or a marriage. In describing why integrating spirituality and counseling is important, Wolf and Stevens say to shun or dismiss religious or spiritual aspects of a person would be to neglect an integral part of the client's culture. The Creator designed humanity and marriage. It would be meaningless to not involve his presence in healing a broken marriage. Every couple and situation will be different in counseling, and there will be different biblical truths to fix the relationship. The counselor must allow the Holy Spirit to guide and speak through him or her to help coach the couple. In any relationship and situation, it is vital to rely on God, the rock, to heal, fulfill needs, and be the most important aspect of life. For they drank from the spiritual rock that accompanied them, and that rock was Christ. Humanity was made in the image of a relational God. Relationship and marriage are important to God. The world does not present a correct image of relationship or marriage. With divorce rates and unhappy marriages on the rise, there is a need for marriage counseling. Although it is not easy to help couples resolve marital conflicts and build a better relationship, marriage counseling can be very rewarding. Every marriage conflict is unique, and it requires the counselor to follow the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Christians do not conform to the pattern of the world, and marriage done in God's way has a 100% success rate for successful and happy marriages. Thank you.